All right, Don, so in 2025, there's a couple of schedule changes on the NASCAR schedule, one being Rockingham is back. Do you have any stories or thoughts about Rockingham?
Stories or thoughts, huh? Well, let me tell you, I really like Rockingham. I used to look forward to going to Rockingham. Rockingham's a different horse all in its own, and I'm sure it's not going to change, but years ago when we go to Rockingham and we get in the race, and you'd have a pretty decent setup, and you'd go out and run, and then after about 10 laps, you were a full second slower, and you're, oh, what the hell's going on, And the story was always the same. It was almost worn out, and you just didn't get the bite that you needed after a few laps, and you could actually go a lot slower with no changes of whatsoever. So you couldn't be adjusting the chassis all the time to go for that. It depended on how old your tires were. So what the guys used to do after a while, after we thought about it, well, hell, we should put an overdrive high gear in 4-speed, so we could shift and go back a gear when the tires got tired, because then you wouldn't be using as much horsepower, to turn the rear tires. So and the speed would hang on a little bit longer. One year when we were there, we were running, and Rusty said, "Oh my God, we got a cylinder out. I bet you I broke a valve spring." I went, "Oh well, let's wait a little bit here and see where we are." And I got back on the radio and I said, "RW, just think about this. You're not slowing down." "Well, I can feel it's missing. It's a dead hole." And I said, "It might be a dead hole, but we don't need all this power because you haven't slowed down at all and you're actually picking guys off." And he said, "Yeah, you're right. I just passed another one." So as the race went on, he wanted to change it back anyway. We brought the car back in and he said, "Take a look and see what's wrong." We lifted the hood and sure enough, a plug wire had come off. We put the plug wire back on and went back out, and guess what? The car was slower. So, there you are. It was a Rockingham thing. I loved that place. I thought it was a great racetrack, and I always look forward to going there. And it was always very, very competitive because there was always something changing, I look forward to it. I think the guys will have a great time when they go back there with the trucks and with the Xfinity cars, and hopefully they'll get the Cup cars back there again. They need to be back at Rockingham for sure.